Welcome back to day 5, chapter 4 of the book Silence. Today we're going to sit for 1 minute silence. At school, I learned about sound waves. Sound is physical and can be measured in decibels. Though I find it unsatisfying to measure sound with a number chart, silence is more of an idea, a notion. The silence around us may contain a lot, but the most interesting kind of silence is the one that lies within. A silence which each of us must create. I no longer try to create absolute silence around me. The silence that I am after is the silence within. I asked a world-class football player about his experience of noise down there on the pitch in the midst of a crowded stadium at the moment when he kicked the ball and it goes whizzing towards the goal. His reply was this: just after he's kicked the ball, he can't hear a single noise, even though the noise level has skyrocketed. He lets out a whoop, he is the first to know it's a goal, yet the stadium continues to seem noiseless. His teammates are the next ones to understand that the ball has passed the goalposts, and he can see them cheering. Just after that, the fans realise it too, and then everyone is cheering loudly. The entire thing takes a second or two. Of course, the noise level on the pitch has been considerable decibel levels the whole time. I believe it's possible for everyone to discover this silence within themselves. It is there all the time, even when we are surrounded by constant noise. Deep down in the ocean, below the waves and ripples, you can find your internal silence. Standing in the shower, letting the water wash over your head, sitting in front of a crackling fire, swimming across a forest lake, or taking a walk over a field. All these can be experiences of perfect stillness too. I love that. It's more difficult in Oslo. I work in the city and at times I have to shape my own silence there. Sometimes there is so much noise that I turn up the music I'm listening to, not to create more of a disturbance, but in order to shut out other sounds. This seems to work if it's music that is already familiar to me and I'm not taken by surprise. You can even experience silence alongside an airport runway if you really want to. A friend told me that the only time he can be certain of absolute quiet is when he is driving in his car. The most important thing, as an old Norwegian saying goes, is not how you are, but what you make of things. For me, silence in nature is of the highest value. That's where I feel most at home. Still, if I hadn't been able to experience stillness amid city life, my longing for silence would be too great and I would have needed to return to nature more often. The Arctic is an ocean surrounded by continents, a stark contrast to the Antarctic, which is a continent surrounded by oceans. When you are heading north on the Arctic ice, you are surrounded by constant noise. The Arctic Ocean is 3,000 metres deep and covered by ice. The ice is moved by the wind and the ocean currents. The enormous white masses rumble as they push against the elements of nature. Where the ice is thin, maybe only an inch, it sways and crackles as you walk. In 1990, when the explorer Borg Ausland and I reached the North Pole, an American spy plane happened to fly overhead the day after we arrived. The pilots were probably just as surprised as we were to find someone else at the North Pole. As a gesture of kindness towards two famished polar explorers, they circled back and dropped a box of food before continuing on. After 58 days, in temperatures down to minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit, most of the fat and muscle mass had been burned off our bodies. In order to reach the pole, we had stretched our days from 24 to 30 hours, enabling us to walk for 17 hours at a stretch. The cold and hunger had made it almost impossible to sleep at times. We opened the box from the spy plane. It was their lunch: sandwiches, juice, kippered herring, and we laid it all out on our sleeping mats and divided the food between us. I was about to devour my food when Borg suggested we shouldn't begin eating at once, but rather pause for a moment. In silence, we should slowly count to 10 internally and only then begin eating, he said. Show collective restraint. Remind each other that satisfaction is also a matter of sacrifice. Waiting felt strange, but I have never felt as rich as I did in that moment of silence. I don't knit, but when I watch someone who does, I think that they must have found some of the same inner peace that I discovered during my expeditions, even if their surroundings are not as quiet. It's the same when I read, play music, meditate, have sex, go skiing, do yoga, or just sit quietly without any interruptions. As a publisher, I have learned that it is possible to sell hundreds of thousands of books about knitting, brewing beer, and stacking wood. A great many of us have a desire to return to something basic, authentic, and to find peace, to experience a small, quiet alternative to the din. There's something slow and sustainable about such pursuits, something meditative. The possibilities of being interrupted when you're brewing beer in your basement or when you're knitting are hopefully minimal, allowing you to relish the task at hand. Simply knowing that I am not going to be interrupted, and for once having an explanation for why I wish to be alone with my task, is a wonderful luxury. This is not just a new trend or a fad, it is a reflection of a profound human need. Knitting, brewing beer, felling trees, these are activities that all have something in common. You set yourself a goal and carry it out, not all at once, but over time. You use your hands or your body to create something. By moving yourself, you move your mind. I enjoy experiences where the satisfaction travels from the body to the head rather than the other way around. The results that you achieve, firewood to warm you, a sweater you have poured yourself into, are not things that can simply be printed out. The fruit of your labour is a tangible product, a result that you and others can enjoy over a period of time. A little bit of a longer chapter today, so well done if you are still with me. Let's sit for 1 minute together. Well done. Thank you for taking a pause with me today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.